Hey
Two.
everybody, welcome to our stream. My name is Tad Kilgore, and I am your DM today. We are doing Tomb of Annihilation, and we have four very special gamers that we're playing with that I'm DMing for, all of which are really awesome human beings who I have run D&D for back in the day when they were much, 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 much younger. And we are on our second episode, and we've been having a pretty good time with it. The characters are just getting into Chult, just in Port Nyanzaru. They have secured who they think is a trustworthy guide, and they've begun the process of learning the city a little bit more, learning a little bit more about Chult, and securing the supplies that are going to be necessary for them to start their expedition. A couple things for you. Tad has some table rules. My name is Tad Kilgore, and I again am your dungeon master. And I've been DMing. Let's see, I am 53, and I started DMing when I was 11, so I have been DMing way too long. And I wrote for David Arneson back in the 3.0, 3.5 heyday of the game, and have off and on, written other things here and there, contributed to a bunch of different communities, and DM'd many, 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 many tables at conventions for all sorts of people, and have been pretty much continuously running role playing games for my friends and my family throughout that 40 some years. So that gives you a little bit of background for me. A couple other things for you. I have some table rules, some things that I do that are pretty straightforward, but I always like to restate for everyone so they're clear on them. First thing that I do is we really try to be in character all the time. And what does that mean? Because everybody has a different sort of interpretation about what in character means. Well, for me, it means that when you're interacting with the NPCs and you're interacting with each other, unless it's clearly something that has to be talked about in terms of mechanics, you're being your character. So for the four people who are, playing with us today, that means that if they're talking to one of the merchant princes, he's going to be interacting with them or she's going to be interacting with them directly one to one. And if they talk about how they're going to scam the merchant prince in front of the merchant prince, he's going to change or she's going to change her behavior. She's going to be aware of that. And so players have been a pretty good job of being in character all the time and figuring out who their characters are and learning through that. Second thing we do is I use Fantasy Grounds is the platform that I run my games on. Really like Fantasy Grounds, and it has a mechanic called the Dice Tower. And the Dice Tower allows players to still control the dice, still make the rolls for themselves, which is super fun. But at the same time, um, the die rolls, the results are unknown to them. So if you're making a stealth check or a perception check or a knowledge check or any of those various assorted checks that you need to make at times, you're not responding to the die roll. So what I've seen a lot of players do, and it's just a normal human thing, it's not a direct attempt to metagame, but it happens, is they'll roll really well and they'll assume a positive result. Rightfully so. If you roll a 23 or a 24, woohoo, you spot it, you heard it, you know it, whatever. That's okay, but really, if you roll a 4, are you going to know that you were not successful? So what I will do is the players still get to roll their dice. They make their die rolls blind. I don't make them for them, but they're going to respond to the information I give them, not the mechanics of the dice. So if you make your perception check and I say, and you roll a 22, and I say, you don't hear anything. Or you roll a 4, and I say, you don't hear anything. The information you get is actually going to be pretty much the same, regardless of the roll that you make in some ways, but the results of that are going to be dependent on how you interact with the environment after you've made your die roll. And those are my two big table rules. For the most part, we play very traditional D&D. I do give a couple things that let my players have more than one inspiration, and I give away inspiration rather freely. And we have a very straightforward economy: make the DM giggle, or do something that is just stunningly in character and super heroic, and I will almost always provide inspiration because hey, we're playing a game where we get to be heroes and we get to try crazy things, and I want to reward my players for doing all that awesome stuff. Okay, enough about me, enough about the game. I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, talk about who they are, what they do, and what their characters are excited about today, what their characters are planning on accomplishing today, and what they've learned so far. And we will start with James Kilgore. who is actually on the top of the stream right now, top on the left, and he needs to rename his a stream so he is James Kilgore and not Tad Kilgore, because although he looks a lot like me, he is not exactly me. Go ahead and introduce yourself, James, and you can fix that later.
Okay. Yeah, wade through a loop there.
That's okay. I just looked down and realized it. All right.
Quick fix and
there you go. Introduce
hey
yourself,
viewers,
James.
it's J-Man here, otherwise known as James Kilgore, son of Tad Kilgore. I am playing Gurul, the Total Artificer. Yes. And Gurul is not eager to be here and wants to get out of town as quickly as possible for reasons of private that are more private to her. But yes, we are still going to help our dear friend and see what we can figure out about this mysterious death curse that has plagued the land.
Excellent. A man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. My name is Eamon Doctor. You may recognize me from my own personal games, streams and stuff. And I play two characters. Garth and Aponia. And today I will be primarily expecting a little bit more shenanigans between little brother Garth and his older sister today.
Chaos.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add, sir? All right. Phantom Dragon, you are up. Kent, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Kent. I do streams every once in a while when I have nothing better to do, and I'm planning to start streaming more often. I play Kazoo, the Goblin Bard, who is a goblin who likes tall people things and does not understand them but wants to learn.
Excellent. Ford.
Also, banana paste.
Banana paste, yes, which apparently is outstanding both to eat and also to use, I believe, as a moisturizer. Was that your...
For your skin, yes.
Yes. So, Ford, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ford. I like making things and playing video games, and my character is a tabaxi druid who is cautiously optimistic of the day, I'd say.
Excellent. So, when last we met, you had all met with albino dwarf called Musharib. And Musharib had talked to you about what his experiences had been in the jungle and what his plans were for his time there. And he had shared with you that he was more than willing to work with you and he would waive your fee if you, after you had accomplished the things you needed to accomplish together, or as part of the explorations you were doing, would help him reclaim an artifact that was sacred to his family and his people. And you agreed that, you had to make, you had to, as quickly as possible, help your good friend out and make certain that she would not succumb to the death curse. So you agreed to do that. But you agreed to also help him out, and he thought that was pretty good. He also suggested that you should meet him tonight after you'd finished the shopping that you needed to do at the Broken Chalice, which is in the city but outside the walls near the Temple of Tamora. And you have a secure area inside the city, and you also have areas that aren't quite as secure all over the city also. And you had agreed to do that and to help him help him with that quest. So he had given you a list of things he'd given you a list of things that you needed to pick up for him. Do you that you guys needed to pick up? Do you guys remember what that list was, and how do you want to approach that?
Well, if no one else will jump in, I remember the list included bug spray because a lot of the blood-sucking insects in the area can
Avoid it.
carry a lot of diseases, according to what our dwarven friend told us. We'd also need to get our own sets of canoes to ride down the rivers that lead to our first and rather only clue as to where exactly we can start searching for our answers.
Boat
And
people.
then there was, let's see.
We will be boat people.
Indeed. But yes,
So how do you want to
there was
approach that
something else.
then?
I feel like
I can imagine we'd want to stick together as a group, try to stay on the inside of the city until we have to go to the bar, until we
Yeah.
head over to the Broken Chalice. Is everyone in favor of that?
Yeah,
yes.
Maybe.
maybe.
The chaos will begin.
That's funny.
Oh no.
All right. Will you be seeing? So do you guys remember who were you staying with?
Um,
Let's see, I have
I
names.
don't know how to say his name.
Uh,
Names to remember.
there we go. I had to clean up a problem I had with one of my frames. There we go.
No harm.
All
I
right.
thought I still had it pulled up, but apparently I don't.
No problem. Let's sort of recap all that information so you have it at your fingertips. We will do that
Okay.
again. Do you remember who you had initially traveled with? Do you remember her name?
It's on the tip of my tongue, I swear. Cynthia?
Sylvain.
Sylvain.
Yeah, that's right. And,
I think I found the guy that we were staying with, his picture, but I can't say his name.
Okay, that's totally absolutely fair. All right.
And I don't want to mispronounce it, so
Not a problem. You had wow, that's awesome. That is totally awesome. Go ahead, Kent. Give it your best shot here, just to amuse the DM, if nothing else.
Owanatu?
Owanatu? All right. So, was it this guy?
Yes.
Wakanga Otamu, right? All right. And
I can't say that.
So,
It's both saddening and funny.
all right. Does anybody remember what Wakanga shared with you last time? What he was willing to do for you?
A book that had information in it that we added to our map.
That's right. That's right. So he found a book, and you reviewed that book. Does anyone remember what was in the book specifically that he wanted to share with you?
A map?
A map, right. And you guys have been able to narrow down pretty closely a location of where you could find what you think is some sort of magical construct, and it was labeled Vorn. And it looked like this was notebooks from a wizard. And of course, Wakanga is the individual within the city that is able to.
Sell magic items.
Exactly. There you go. So those just throw a few things together for you. Now I'm gonna take the map out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you all had been staying up here. See where the purple arrow is? You all had been staying with, I'm going to sync my view, so you all are looking at the map the same way. See where that purple arrow is up there? You had been staying up here with Wakanga. And you traveled down to here to meet with his friend, who is the individual who has all the guides and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, he was not super happy that you guys just showed up unannounced without a meeting and asked him for, support. But, he gave you the information that you needed and sent you on your way. And you ended up going down to you went down to the Red Market, if I remember correctly. Down on the Market Ward. And you ended up remember you crossed over it, and it was this huge area here, the Grand Souk. And you went down to the Red Market, the Red Bazaar, which is down here. And you ended up finding your guide there. All right. So that's what you were. So right now, you all are in the Red Bazaar. And if you remember correctly, Musharib had taken you to this little open area where you guys had all had an ale and, had a little bit of, had a mild snack, sort of a mild lunch before he went on about his way. So right now you are all sitting right there at that table. And he is left, and you are getting ready to move forward.
Correct.
All right, so we have been staying with Wakanga. We're helping our friend Sylvain, the individual that we know as Musharib, and you have a bunch of things you need to do today. All right, everybody good?
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
So, what is the plan? Why don't you talk through it amongst yourselves and determine what you want to do?
I want to go look for boat. Boat is useful, right?
Yes, indeed. Specifically, they're called canoes, my good friend Kazoo.
Okay, I will go look for canoes.
Wait. We're in a foreign city. I'd say we stick together at the very least. We can
But isn't
start.
that just-
I say we leave best for last, my friend. Canoes.
Okay. And we needed bug spray so we could kill giant bug. So it don't kill the child.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. And I just start walking towards a direction and to go look for bug spray.
Let's figure out where the. Let's
I
see.
grab Kazoo by the back of whatever he's wearing.
Yes?
Kazoo, are you attempting to not be grabbed, or are you allowing him to grab you?
No, I'm just like, okay. I've committed.
So, let's see. Aponia has a handful of Kazoo's. Are you wearing leather armor?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. So it's a little greasy, Aponia. It's a little greasy, and there's some substances on it that you're not quite certain of their original origin, but you're able to get a hold of it.
All right. And stick with me here. I place Kazoo on top of my head, just as I did with Garth the previous night. And I will jump. What's the nearest, like the tallest nearest roof? If you get what I'm saying.
The tallest nearest roof.
Yeah, and within the immediate area, what would have the highest?
Aren't we at the market right now?
You guys are adjacent to the Red Market. So that area, there's a whole bunch of stalls and stuff. And directly across from you is, let's see, looks like it's got a tower in the top of it. It's covered with vines. Looks like it might be some sort of clothing shop or cloth shop where they sell, bolts of cloth and some finished pieces of clothing. And it's a 3-story building, but it's a 2-story hop to a balcony where there are 2 individuals sitting underneath an awning covered by shade, looking out on the marketplace itself. And of course, this place is splashes of color. You can hear people talking, you can hear people singing. You can hear occasionally the screeches of, the monkeys that rave throughout the city, and you see flying snakes and different tropical birds hopping around above you. So the first thing you do is you pick up Kazoo, you put Kazoo on your shoulders, right? Kazoo, are you resisting this, or are you letting him put you up on the head?
I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just like, okay, I guess this is a custom
All
of
right.
Saturn.
So
And
It's just like, okay.
I will this is I will jump on up, and I'll use my satyr ability for a long jump to do roll a 1d8, and that number will be added to my jump.
Okay. Go ahead and let's see.
Is he about to try and eat me off a building?
You can probably go ahead and give me an acrobatics check in the tower. All right.
Acrobatics.
Just don't roll a 1. I'm on your head.
Okay. Okay.
This is gonna end horribly.
At least
All
it will be at least a 5 because I do have a +4.
All right. So you land up on the railing in front of the 2 individuals who are having what you think is a business conversation of some sort with a pot of tea beside them. And as you hop up on the railing, you're sort of going back and forth with the goblin on top of your shoulders. You can look back to the archway and you can see that there's a servant standing there, kind of slack-jawed, all right, holding a tray of looks like some sort of biscuit that comes around the corner and goes. And the 2 people are looking at you, and the 2 people sitting there doing business are Chultons. So it's an older man, graying beard, all right, slightly balding around the top, very, very thin hair. And there's a younger woman with a turban, and she and he both look at you, and he goes, "Excuse me, what are you doing on my veranda?"
I put my finger up,
Wing.
like it's like wait sort of signal, and then so this is the second out of character. This is the second balcony, and there's still higher up that I can go. Correct?
Yes, you couldn't have made the roof with that jump.
Okay. May I do that again?
You're trying to get to the roof.
Is there a finite number of uses for your jump?
No, I'm not going to use my satyr one again.
Retro leaps. Okay, you can go ahead and jump. You can go ahead and jump again then.
Yeah.
No, go ahead and roll your D8 again.
Oh, D8?
Yeah.
D8. Where did I put it?
All right. Okay, this is fantastic, Kazoo. He bounces up. 2 people freak out, and then then she holds her finger up and then jumps again up on top of the roof. All right, and as you look back over your shoulder, you see the older gentleman looking up at you and sort of like with this not happy look on his face as you bounce off
Very
the top of the
confused.
building. All right.
Very confused.
You were up on top of the building and you land and you kind of skid and you drop down on one knee. Garth is like, seems to like it quite a bit. Kazoo, what's your reaction? Now,
I'm just. That was fun, but also, please don't do that again.
down in the street, Kazoo starts to walk off to look for canoes. You see Aponia grab him, put Kazoo on his head, jump up on the balcony, and then jump up on the roof of the house. The satyr grabs the goblin and takes off with him. Lonely Chaser and Garul, what are the two of you doing in response to this?
Making a very confused expression like,
Well, I guess we're splitting up for our shopping trip then.
Karul just leaves.
Oh, don't worry about Kazoo. He's been in tighter spots.
hey,
All
I
right.
just kind of, walk along with my little cane and
I'm on.
off to get bug
Yeah.
spray.
All right, Aponia, you look directly across from where you are. So you're looking in.
I
you're
don't
looking-
have the map up because I forgot to get that up. Hold on. Okay, thank you.
You're looking directly across from you. You see that parapet? All right, directly across from you.
Yeah.
So you're on this.
Where are we going?
You're on this building here. All right, so you're on this building
The orange one?
right there. That's exactly where you guys are
Oh.
right now. Okay,
Yeah.
and you see this parapet across the way from you there. All right. The space beyond it is the Grand Coliseum. All right, it's where there are usually non-lethal combats. And that entire parapet, the area above you is an archway, and the city is broken into some secured areas and some non-secured areas. You just came down from where the gold. You had just come down from where the Golden Throne was, and that's where the government businesses and offices are. You had just come down from that into this area in the market ward, and these are so these areas are elevated. They're a little bit harder to get to. They're up on stairs, and you see the stairs that walk up onto the archway, and the stores to the right and left of the building that you're on. It's elevated by about 20 feet. 30 feet. And you bounce up on the roof of the building and you look across and you can see standing there looking at you two probably guardsmen. These are large Chilton men, dark complexions, carrying shields with spears and wearing light armor, probably leather armor. And one of them is laughing. The other one points his spear at you, shakes his finger at you, and, yells, all right? He goes, get down now. All right, what are you doing?
There's things. Yeah, go
I am
on.
like very confused, but I'm like, that was fun. Let's do it again.
Well,
Being goblin.
Now, it's going to be a lot easier jump getting off the back because you jumped up to the top of the building on the front of it where, and on the back side, stairs lead up to a much flatter area. So you can cross it back to the building and just jump down a heck of a lot easier than you did on the front.
So
This is gonna be funny.
This out of character. So where my character is, she is sort of on the same level as where
If we
they
need to talk,
like I
we
can
go
see
to-
directly towards like the guards and my character are on the same level, correct?
They're a little bit higher than you are. So if you're about 30 feet up in the air, in front of you there's a tower that's another 10 feet up, all right, and it has a bell in the top of it, and they are on the parapet across from you, all right, so they're about 10 feet up from you, but they have line of sight on you, and let's face it, seeing a satyr spring up on top of a roof with not one but two goblins being carried by it is a unique sighting even in Chult. So the guard's reaction was one, what is that? And two, get off the roof. All right. So
So
Okay.
out of character, you guys remember that one scene from Star Wars? The Empire.
Are you
the-
about to throw me off the building?
no. Kind of.
No.
Remember Return of the Jedi, when they were on the desert and like everyone sort of like Luke is about to jump off and like everyone's just nodding. Aponia and Garth nod to each other, and Garth nods towards Kent's character. Sorry,
Kazoo.
Kazoo.
Looking
and
very confused yet oddly very confused and very concerned, noticing the guards going, "Get down."
And
you see that there's guards moving along the parapet to your right now. All right.
okay, and then I will jump.
We're gonna get
quickly
down?
Look for James's character,
Guru.
Gruel, and yeah,
Lonely
Gruel.
Chaser.
Yeah, and Chaser.
They're in the street behind you, sitting at the table where you guys were having a drink, kind of looking up at you. And Lonely Chaser has this look on her face. Well, go ahead and describe yourself looking up at him, Ford and James.
With a look of bafflement and confusion.
So,
Gruel has her arms folded. Like
I just decide to start climbing down slowly.
Um,
I just
and
want to start climbing down.
Aponia, you're up there and you look behind you and you look down and you see that there is the tent, the awning that overhangs the restaurant might be at an outstanding place to jump. Now it's going to be about a 30-foot drop, but you think maybe you could, jump off the building and land on the tent and not take a ton of damage, maybe some. Or it's only a 10-foot drop off the back of the building, so Kazoo's starting to wiggle and stuff. He's not having as much fun as he once was.
okay,
So
and then
you're gonna have to make some decisions. And there's guardsmen running down the parapet to your right, the archway to your right, coming towards you. What are you doing?
I'll do option A, doing the jump.
All right,
This is gonna end gloriously.
Go ahead and make a jump check, and I will need both of you to make an acrobatics check. Or go ahead and make
wonderful.
What would be considered a jump check?
Go ahead and give me an athletics, and then give me an acrobatics, and roll your d8. Oh, wow.
I just rolled my dex.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. That's Are you trained in acrobatics, Kent?
Athletics.
Let me check that. Acrobatics. I'm in athletics.
Okay. You're good.
No, wait, athletics?
Oh my God, really? All right, so here's what happens. I got to show you all of this. Okay, it's pretty outstanding. Kent rolls a 24 on his acrobatics check. All right, so you jump. And you make an outstanding athletics check because you get your additional D8 on top of it, right? So you guys jump off the building, and Kazoo does a triple gainer. All right, lands directly on the overhanging tent. All right, over top of the restaurant you guys were staying in, and bounces back on the ground and lands square on his feet. You do an absolutely exquisite jump, and
I also T-pose.
there might be issues with your execution on the landing, however. All right.
Uh-oh.
So you do a face plant directly into the canopy, get slung up in the air, all right, and end up bouncing on it again. All right, and I'm going to have you take a d6 from the impact. You only take a hit point though, so you take a hit point of damage from the impact as you sort of bounce. All right,
Okay.
Garth is loving this. All right, and Garth is on your back, and you're sort of laying there.
Yeah.
You're laying there on the overhang, and Garth sort of scrambles out, looks down, grabs hold of both your ears, and goes "Mwah!" in the middle of your forehead. All right.
Yeah. All right. And
By the
this
way,
will.
I go back to the table with Garul and Chaser, and I cast Minor Illusion because I'm pretty sure there are guards coming to attempt to arrest us.
Yeah. And just a little heads up for the people who are this out of character for the people who are watching and for everyone else. Me and the lovely DM did sort of agree that no real harm will happen to Garth
Yes, it's a
since
child.
since he is basically a child here, and
Beep, beep, beep,
we don't want any harm to go towards children here, especially me. That's not my thing at all. So
Yes, the
any
Shadow Realm.
any harm will go towards Oponia instead of Garth on this.
Yeah.
Garth has the best armor ever. It's called plot armor.
Yeah.
Yes, we are aware of this.
All right. So, Kent, you're casting Minor Illusion. What are you doing with the Minor Illusion?
I turn into a halfling and sit down next to Garul.
That's change person. That's our first level spell. Minor Illusion will let you do some things, like make it look like you've got.
I just have a beard and like mustache and shit now.
Okay, so you use it to give yourself a goblin-y beard, but you're still a goblin, right? And
Yes.
then you attempt to sit there nonchalantly as the guards roll up.
Yes.
Okay. Would you please make a deception check in the tower?
Okay. Okay, give me a moment of trying not to die. Okay, deception.
The DM calls shenanigans.
Deception.
All right. So, there's a problem with the disguise. It's apparent to everybody sitting there. All right. You don't think that Karul realizes that the mustache is completely upside down and from here to here on his face,
Because who does not realize the
Who just
mustache is
goes-
upside down?
and is sitting there very nonchalantly. All right. So guards run up.
Oh,
All right. And there's people who are checking this out. Now there are a group of Tabaxi minstrels who've walked up and they're applauding. They're going, "Oh, fine show, fine show." So they're approaching it like this is some sort of street theater. All right, from what they can tell, they're treating you guys like street performers as far as you can tell. All right. The guy who clearly owns the bar that you guys stopped at, the little restaurant, he stepped out and he's looking up on his porch and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing up there? You trying to freaking break my stuff?" And then over on the other side,
I am looking very nonchalantly.
DM is talking. Up on the other side, across the street from you, the individual who's railing you bounced on is standing on the edge, pointing down and saying, that crazy goat person jumped up on my roof." All right, and the two guardsmen come rolling up on you. All right,
I have
And
an
these
upside
are-
down mustache and attempting to be nonchalant.
these are really well-muscled, obviously experienced soldiers, dark complexions, close-cropped hair. They're both wearing torques around their head, and you can see in the center it's the symbol of the port in it, marking them. They're carrying a type of spear that they only have here that's you've seen before, but it's a little bit different than the spears that you are used to. It's called a Yakula. And Yakula is about 18 inches of blade and a shorter staff. It's almost like a sword in terms you think you'd have to fight with it. It's a pretty effective spear. And they're standing there and they're like, "Please explain this. You have violated the property rights of Undaran and climbed up on his roof. Please explain this to us. What do you? So
I didn't get a
Apollonia,
choice in the matter.
huh? Looks down at the goblin. Looks at Ford. Looks at
The turtle.
Garul. Looks up at
The stuck
Apollonia.
satyr, I'm assuming.
All right, and looks over at the turtle and says, "And do you know these people?" Because turtles are fairly common and they're a respected species here. They're familiar. Goblins,
Goblins are insane little.
satyrs, it's a goat person. They're not quite certain what you are, all right? And they know tabaxi all the time, all right? So they see tabaxi all the time. But I'm getting the impression that Ford's just hanging out going, this is not my problem. Is that correct? All right.
I was treating this in a very similar fashion.
All right. So,
Girl down.
Down.
the guard ask you, ask you, Roll. Do you know what's going on here, and what do you say?
I can only assume it's a street performance.
And
Come down off that.
I'm stuck.
so just to make absolute sure out of character, we're
totally about to be arrested.
My character is still currently on top of the roof, correct?
No,
Or-
your character is currently on top of the awning that was
Okay,
on top
awning.
of the restaurant. So what you did is you walked across
Yeah.
the street, scooped up the goblin, jumped up on the railing, jumped up on the roof, stood on the roof, looked around and went, why the guards aren't super happy that we're here. Then you turn around and you sprang back off the roof, hit the awning, all right, landed face first on the awning, did a face plant. You're okay, but it was not unpleasant. Garth thought it was outstanding and kissed on you. And Kazoo, because Kazoo did a half gainer 360-degree somersault, landed on his feet, cast minor illusion to put a bad beard on himself, and sat down and nonchalantly pretended not
And
to
an
be
upside
involved.
down mustache, I would like to clarify.
Which the guards are not buying at all. They recognize you as the other goblin. So
The other goblin.
the other goblin. There's the itty bitty goblin who they know is up there with the satyr. And there is the other goblin sitting here hiding at the table. And then
With a
there's,
pretend mustache and beard.
there's a turtle and a tabaxi hanging out just going,
And okay, so
I'm so
will-
screwed.
I believe this is one of the few times I ever did this. I will use my feature from my background, All Eyes on You, and I will take out my loot, and I will start playing like the beginnings of a song, and Garth will get.
I hear start playing song, and I immediately start using my banjo.
okay, so
Oh my
I
God.
need I need performance checks. No, tell you what, because you are accompanying Apollonia, Apollonia may make her performance check with advantage. All right, because you start to pop out your loot, and all of a sudden you hear in the background supporting it. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right.
performance is this, I believe.
All right. So, how you would give yourself advantage is you'd click on advantage and you'd roll the die. Kazoo, you don't have to. Apollonia, go ahead and you make a performance check now and give yourself advantage
Okay.
by clicking on ADV directly
Yeah.
below the
And
window.
And I already have proficiency with this anyway, so
So, go ahead and make your roll with advantage.
all right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's exquisite. And a lot of times I don't tell you what the rolls are, but when you guys are cranking out 20s like this, I'm a die nerd too. I like knowing when I roll a 20. So anyhow, you rolled a 20, so you're up there and you go into this. Is it a comic or a sad or just an entertaining song? Describe it.
Comic more like, because like I was saying, Garth And Garth is Garth. He's a baby. So he does not know exactly how to do this, but he starts to do like a little like jig, like a little baby jig, sort of.
All right. So he does like a meme baby dancing, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. Outstanding. So he does a little meme baby dancing, and the banjo is exquisite accompaniment, and the two guards are like, all right, Outlanders, come down. Come down. This is a very good song. And across the way, the younger woman who was meeting with Endurin, she goes, oh, this is such good music. And she says,
Right.
oh, forgive them. They are just silly. So that seems to work. The guards want you to get down off the canopy.
Yeah,
All
and I
right?
do.
And the guy who owns the restaurant is like, all right, we will forget, I will completely forgive you for the tear up in my awning if you stay and perform here for 2 hours.
I
And I
can't.
do.
I'm good for it.
Yeah,
All right.
and I do.
So, the three Tabaxi minstrels come over and they decide they want to join you. All right, just because they're like, wow, that's a good gig. So you actually take the small green things and throw them places to get attention for your audience.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got two Tabaxi merchants or three Tabaxi minstrels who are joining you. Now, I will say, there's a very distinct aesthetic to Tabaxi music. All right, their speaking voices are very pleasant, very distinct. But have you ever heard one of your cats get really upset and yowl at something?
Yes. I know that sound
All right.
distinctly.
All right, that's kind of what this sounds like. All right, it's a bit yowly, is the best way to describe it. All right, so you have some yowly accompaniment, but it all works together well. All right, and you guys spend the next 2 hours doing that. Now, Ford and James, what would you like Lonely Chaser and Garul to do while they are serving their entertainment sentence?
Rule looks them. Well, while they perform their heads off, let's go do the shopping. We'll charge.
Agreed.
We'll split their money. We'll have them pay for their share when we get back.
And actually, I'll allow James and Ford to do their characters first and do shopping, and I'll ask after they do everything because I took up pretty much all that role playing for the first few minutes. So
My
That was
goblin
pretty
did
good,
parkour.
though.
It was awesome.
yeah, no, but I took the spotlight for quite a while. So I can
Fair
wait
enough.
a little bit.
Absolutely, DM's going to move on and give the other players some time on stream, no doubt about it. So, we have people shopping, do we not?
Yes.
You are
Indeed.
right in the right place to do all this shopping. What would you like to go find?
Canoes? Are we getting the canoes first, or are we getting the bug spray
Let's
first?
start with the bug spray. The canoes will be pretty heavy to lug around.
There's only a few specific people. Quate, shoot, maps bouncing everybody all over. This individual, all right, is the merchant lord who is known for selling all those sorts of items, all right? And although she's not here, she's known and she's understood that way, right? So she is she sells fruit, wine, ale. There's a local beverage called Tej, which is like fermented honey, perfumes, and insect repellents, right? And she is actually known as a priest. All right. So anyhow, you guys are going looking for some insect repellent, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you come rolling up and to the stand, and guy standing there, and he says, how can I help you?
We're looking to purchase some bug spray for a trip into the jungles.
I have two things that I can do for you. I can give you a block of incense. And incense will burn for 8 hours, and it will keep the insects in a 20-foot area around it. So what that is very good for is camp at night. And it's a thick, very heavy smoke that will drive them off. Second thing I have is I have a gourd of salve, and he grabs a gourd for you, and you can see that it's a gourd, literally a gourd. All right, and it's wrapped in a protective netting, and there's a cork in the top of it, and he pulls it out and he holds it out to you to smell.
Interesting.
It's greasy. Smells kind of like it's got like a minty mentholyptus kind of smell, right? And he says, "So this is a gold piece, and it gives you 20 applications. These will protect you for against normal insects for about a day, for about 24 hours. And this is waterproof. It does not wash off in the rain." So he says it's very important. I have seen people not used to this. I've seen people not used to this come back out of the jungle, literally eaten alive. There's a specific fly that will bite a hole in your skin, lay its eggs in it, and then over the course of several weeks, you will have the eggs hatch from your back, and the creatures will chew their way out. It's very, very nasty. So the insect repellent is very important.
Indeed. So we've been told. Out of character here, do we know about how long the trip will be in terms of like how many days worth of this we're going to need?
He was not. You didn't really talk to him about that. Based on what you saw on the map, you think you probably ought to try and do at least a month's worth of supplies if you can. So based on that, if everybody traveling was covered, you would need about, if you got like 8 gold pieces worth of 8 containers of the insect repellent, and about 30 blocks or 3 gold pieces worth of the incense, you'd be fully covered.
We should be able to afford that.
You got about 200 gold pieces total from Sylvain.
Gotcha. So I think it's fair to say we do about a month and a week's worth, just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right. So you're going to get about 4 gold pieces worth of the incense, and so you're going to get about 40 days worth of the incense, let's say, just for ease. And you're going to get so you're going to spend about 14 gold pieces total, 10 gourds, and about 40 slabs of the incense, correct?
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
All right, very good.
That ought to do it.
So he is more than happy to take your coin and thanks you.
All right.
So
Are you able to manually subtract, or do we have to do that ourselves?
I could do it for you.
Okay.
So tell you what, I'll keep track of it on notes, and I'll just do it at the end. So I'll pop open a what you spent note, and we'll just keep track of
Gotcha.
it there. All right. Make
And
sense?
of course, yes. And of course, after the bug spray, there's the canoes.
Right.
All right. So, canoes. Canoes are you can fit 3 people in one of these canoes.
I recall
Alright,
a guy
easily.
saying that we would need at least 2, right?
Yeah. You can get one that'll hold up to 6 medium creatures and has a maximum speed of 2, but that doesn't hold any space for your gear. So you probably want to get 2 canoes, and that way you've got room for your food and all the other supplies you're going to take with you. So like if like there's other things you may want to get, like additional ropes, stuff like that. So now the problem is between the 2 of you, you only have enough money for between the 2 of you, you only have enough money for 1 full canoe, unless you're able to negotiate a better price.
Hmm. I suppose we'll have to wait for the others. I suppose we'll have to wait for the other 2 to have availability before we can go purchase. Before we can really afford to get the boat, these canoes.
Well,
Girl's kind of just stroking her
you have to set aside 100 gold pieces
chin
for your
oil.
canoes.
Like
at this
there's a beard
point.
there, but there isn't.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
What other things do you want to go try and find? Do you want
Let
to
me think
go?
of what else I would need.
Well, they talked to you about getting the rain catchers, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and the rain catchers you could see it's a pretty simple contraption when you roll up on one. It's a 5-foot square leather tarp on a wooden frame with legs. When it's stretched across the wooden frame, it forms a basin. It can catch up to 2 gallons of water per inch of rainfall and hold up to about 8 gallons. They fold up, and it's about 5 pounds from what you can tell. And, I've been talking about it a lot, but it rained in the morning. It's rained off and on. There's constant rain here. And they use it to clean the streets, and you can see that almost all the water is collected. So figure you need about 2 gallons each if you had, and the guy only wants a gold piece for him. So if you had 4 rain catchers, you'd probably be okay to cover everybody. Because you could also boil water if you needed to. You want to do that?
Seems fine
That
with
works
me.
for me.
All right. Other things that you think you might need. What other things do you think you might need?
Probably rations of some sort
Yeah,
to
that's right.
get us through.
All right. So
I know I only have 10 on my person.
over on the right, you guys can see a thing called items, right? And why don't you pop that open? And we will go ahead and put as your sort. Let's see. Hang on a second. Go to the D&D Player's Handbook, and that will give you a list of common items that you can purchase. And you'll see Abacus, Acid, Alchemist Flyer. All those things are available at price. So if you want rations, you can type in their rations, and it will bring up 1 day's worth of rations for you. And you can click on that and see what that would be. So that's 2 pounds worth of food. It's 5 silver pieces. And rations consist of dry foods suitable for extended travel, including jerky, dried fruit, hardtack, and nuts. So if you're trying to do at least 30 days worth of food, and you can also hunt, you can also fish, right? But if you're trying to bring 30 days worth of food for 6 people, that ends up being 3 gold pieces a day. That ends up being 90 gold pieces for that much food. So between that and the canoes, you don't know if you're going to have enough money for everything.
Right.
Indeed.
So I see you're a little bit concerned there. Is this beyond your budget? This is the guy who's trying to sell you stuff. He lays out the prices and the food, and you guys are both like, well, it looks like good stuff, but he can see you balking a little bit as you're looking at the price of things.
It does seem a bit much for our wallets, I will not lie.
The prices are reasonable. He's not gouging you at all. So.
Do you happen to have any, say, fishing rods or anything of that regard?
I don't, but there's nets and things you could, he points you another one of the stalls here. He says, so if money is your need, if you're short on money, I mean, the dinosaur races are this afternoon. You could always bet on one of the races, or see if someone is hiring for a rider. See if you can get work as a jockey. So he says, so there are other options for you also.
I see. Well, thank you for the information. I guess for now, an extra 10 days would be reasonable, since he did give us perhaps 10 days worth then for the time being.
So you're just going to buy 10 days worth of food?
For now, yes.
All right.
That should
All right. So 10 days worth of food would be, what I say, it's about 3 gold pieces a day, so it'd be 30 gold pieces, so you're going to get 10 days worth of food.
All right. I'm looking at the items section right now.
Mm-hmm.
It says 5 silver pieces for 1 day.
Right, that's for one person. You've got 6
I was
people.
only thinking for Garul in this moment, but
Oh, okay. So you're
Yeah.
only going to buy. So you're buying 10 days worth of food.
Yeah.
All right, and that's 5 gold pieces, right?
Right.
Look at my inventory really fast.
Hey, I'm going to
Second
suggest
button.
something real quick here, folks. We've got this awesome Chinese food that we ordered sitting here next to us. And I'm going to suggest we take our 10-minute break a little bit early because I can't stand the smell of this General Chow's chicken next to me and not dive into it. I got to tell you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, folks,
Fine by me.
we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at about 7:14, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, BRB then.
Hey everybody, we are back. So Kilgore household did not plan its dinner really well. About 20 minutes before the game started, Kent and I are like, hey, let's get Chinese. And we ordered Chinese. And then we were like, oh, and the Chinese is going to show up about 30 minutes into our game. Whoops. So we had an early dinner. Well, thank you all for, tolerating our desire to dive into our Chinese food. And we're going to step right back in. So we're in the red market. And our Lonely Chaser and Garul Nagal are in the process of buying some stuff. And Garul was like, wow, I'm putting a mat together here. We got to buy 2 canoes. That's 100 gold pieces. We got to spend about 90 gold pieces on food if we're going to have about 40 days worth of food. And that really doesn't give us any money for any other supplies. So you're putting a mat together going, eep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody unmute yourself.
I'm not muted, am I?
No,
you're
you're
not.
fine.
Okay, good. I was
Yeah.
worried.
All
I'm
right.
doing bard things still.
Perhaps we should run our calculations by. Perhaps we should run our calculations by Sylvine and and see if she's got any spare coin for us to do this first expedition.
Understood. So
And if she doesn't, we can always put the 2 musicians to work.
Yeah.
Or there's always that dino jockey thing that the shopkeeper was talking to us about.
So what are you going to do right now?
Let's go back, I guess.
Okay.
If it hasn't been 2 hours yet, I think we go. Well, I think the first thing we do is go check on Kazooie and Aponia.
Okay. Well, you come rolling up about the time they're finished with their performance. And, all right, who is going to make the roll with advantage for perform?
Well, since I already have, I can do it because
I can do it because my perform naturally has +5.
Okay, yeah, then I can. You do it.
All right,
Hashtag stat rag.
go ahead and roll with advantage, and you know how to turn advantage on for your
Wait,
next roll.
advantage.
If you go directly below,
That. Let's see if this works.
do it. You did it. It's competent. You actually had done a better performance when you thought the police were going to haul you off. All right. So you weren't inspired in exactly the same way, but you guys jammed for a bit, and between you and the 3 tabaxi that are helping you out, everybody gets about 2 silver pieces each.
Yay! I immediately turn to the guy that we broke his roof and give him 2 of them.
Oh wow! So
And
you
give it to him
Yeah, I do.
because I feel bad.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Well, he really appreciates that, and he gives you both. He gives you both something to drink. All right. So he just gives you both whatever you want. You can have another ale. You can have water. You can have wine. You can have cider. You can have whatever you want. So he just hooks you up.
I'll take the most alcoholic drink that he has, like a proportion of what would be fair enough for.
Chocolate milk.
So you want stuff that catches on fire with an open flame? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Kazoo is just like, I'll just take a chocolatey milk.
All right. So he gives you something sweet and fruity. Okay, probably made out of mangoes and a puree, and he pushes a little small glass about this big across to Aponia, crosses his arms, and the tabaxi are leaning in to watch you drink it. Go ahead.
I'm watching too with very bad anxiety.
And want me to do a Constitution check?
Oh, this is gonna be wonderful.
I would prefer a Constitution save.
Oh, no.
Constitution save.
Oh.
You don't have to make that in the tower. Go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
This is gonna be amusing.
And may I use my inspiration?
Absolutely, you can use inspiration. This might be a very fine time to use inspiration. To be perfectly honest with you.
All right, so it's 1d6, right?
No, it's a Constitution save. So you're going to make a saving throw with Constitution with advantage.
Okay. advantage.
Question mark?
Okay.
Okay, so you drink it, and the good news is you don't pass out immediately.
Immediately.
All right.
That's the key word.
Keyword. By the
So-
way, this is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
You slam this. You slam this shot. All right, of Chilton Firewater, and you feel heat at your toes. It rolls all the way up through to the top of your head. Your face gets sort of a bright red, deep color. Your vision gets a little bit blurry.
Oh no.
All right. Briefly, you kind of lose, your focus. You belch once. All right. And then everything's kind of blurry, and you have the poison condition and are drunk.
You just hear Kazoo say, "You may have made a mistake."
So, I don't know. Aponia looks super happy, though.
I
I know.
believe this is the first time I ever had poison, so DM, please clarify that ruling for me.
You have disadvantage on everything.
Okay.
All right.
Oh no,
All right.
that's a bad thing.
And I assume that, like, if I already have an advantage on something, it will just neutral out.
Go ahead and roll. I've already attached the condition to your character in the combat tracker, but you can roll as an example. So go ahead and make an open perception check, and it'll show you.
The
Yeah,
pure
I just wanna-
alcohol of that.
Make any skill check, and you don't have to
Holy
drop it in the
shit.
tower. Just click it on your character sheet.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Right?
I do appreciate the tabaxi going.
I still got an 18.
Woo! Woo! You get applause because you didn't pass out.
Kazoo's looking at this going,
And, Dermot,
Just-
who is the owner of the establishment, pats you on the shoulder and says, well, you are a tough little gal, aren't you? And he goes in back behind the counter, and you're sitting there kind of doing this. And Garth gets up on your shoulders, leans directly over your face, looks straight into your face upside down, sits back up, and goes, whew, poo-tank, from your breath.
Kazoo's like, no shit.
All right, so
I feel like there's going to be something where Kazoo teaches him how to swear.
so
Oh.
you asked him for thermonuclear booze, and he went, "You earned it. Here you go." So he poured you the highest proof, nastiest, toughest alcohol he possibly could, and it tasted fantastic. But wow, you're wrecked.
For the next 3 days, you are poisoned. I'm joking.
The condition will be removed. The condition can be removed with a lesser
Long
restoration
rest.
or a long rest. Yes. So
yeah. I was guessing long rest because I know that usually things like this usually take a long rest to just cancel out.
for James, go ahead and give me a insight check as you come rolling up.
By the way, Kazoo's just doing this.
Where did it go? I just saw it and then oh, here it is.
Okay.
I think I did that right.
Mm-hmm. Swam.
I covered my tower with a map. Hold on a second.
Happens to the best of us. Talk to PJ about that. He does it all the time.
There is a goblin bard going, but why Aponia?
Well, because I have an idea. A fun idea. Disney Pixar idea.
Oh no.
James, go ahead and roll.
Sorry, here we go.
Something's not right with Aponia. You're not quite certain what's going on. When you come walking up, Aponia's kind of swaying side to side. And Kazoo definitely looks amused. All right.
I look like I'm trying to hide my amusement behind concern. Like, I'm very excited about this, but also I want to look concerned.
All right. You are all back together. Go ahead and talk about the things you need to talk about.
Garul, do you
Yeah.
have anti-drunk stuff? She is very drunk.
I thought you two were performing. What
We
made you
were!
very drunk that quickly? For Bob's sake. Ugh.
Do you think that if
Well, it's going to be a bit pricey in regards to the amount of food we'll need to bring for our trip into the jungles.
And the
I
boats.
suggest we head over and see Sylvine and see if she's got a little bit of extra coin to help
Should
us
I
with the trip.
babysit Epona?
and while you guys are discussing, I take out one of my coins and just randomly start rubbing against my head. Randomly.
All right.
And I ask, do you think that if a rat had pasta, and would the instruments be called ratatouille?
Oh no. This is the most drunk. You guys.
I have to do that joke.
I know.
Let's So yeah, why don't we go see? So yes, let's
Can
head
we,
back
like-
to Wakanga's. Wakanga's
I know. what we do.
place, and we
Let's
will.
take.
Gar says, Wakanga.
Let's head back to
And
Wankagado's place.
with that,
and, see
Garth
what we can do.
will, as stated before, we, just out of like Ratatouille, Garth sort of grabs onto like my two horns.
Mm-hmm.
Onward to victory.
And sort of Ratatouille's Eponia. Keep in mind, poorly Ratatouille's
This is going to end hilariously.
but I'm more than happy to roll to see how badly. And
What are you attempting to roll for?
no, like just to roll like how badly Garth.
Garth attempts to steer Epona.
Yeah.
Eponia. Garth is about to attempt to
Garth,
steer her.
You know, like the movie Ratatouille, right?
Right.
Yeah, like it's basically like that.
We're gonna assume that Kazul gets out in front of you and is loping along with her spear behind you, and
Kazoo.
is on your left.
Oh no, I'm just going up to Garul and just staying with her the rest
Excuse
of
me.
this time.
Garul is in front of you, leading you back to where Sylvain is staying with Wakanga. And we have Lonely Chaser on your right, and we have Kazoo on your left, and we have Garth sitting on top of your head, grabbing hold of your arms. And Garth's goal is actually to bounce off of Kazoo as many times as possible. All right, and Ford and Kazoo bounce off Garul as many times as possible. Ford and Kazoo bounce you back and forth, trying to keep you in as straight a line as possible. So you've got good help to help you get there. All right, so you don't have to roll. But
Oh my god, this is gonna be amusing.
so there we go.
Is there any? So yeah, after like the first we'll say 4 bounces,
One sec, I think the good girl wants to come into my
Guru
room.
kind of turns around and just blocks his face with her hand and says, "Enough is enough, dearest. Enough is enough."
All right. So Garth is like, and then tries to bounce off of Ford or bounce off Lonely Chaser and
Kazoo.
Kazoo
And,
bouncing back and forth.
Am I
Oh, boy.
you know what?
All right. So after about 20 minutes worth of 20 minutes worth of ramming around. You guys are able to get back to Wakongas and see Sylvain. So you're back there. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. All right. So you are back to Wakonga's estate. And the guards recognize you. You're guests of their lord or the merchant prince, and they, bring you right in.
I use it back.
And are you gonna go to Sylvain's room?
Yeah, to make sure
Yes.
she's okay.
It's a wasting
Well.
sickness. It's a wasting disease. Every time you see her, she looks worse, right? Her eyes are a little bit more sunken. Her skin has lost a little bit more color. Her hands shake a little bit more compared to where they were before. So she sees you and she's like, "Oh, how goes your trip to the city? Getting what you need, I hope."
We are, yes. Where we did some calculations on the number of on the supplies we'll need to visit our first, to get to our first
Location
desired location.
to test. I want to go see
However,
this
it's going to
construct.
be it will be a bit pricey.
Show me your work.
I run through and Guru runs through the numbers with her and asks, "Is this within our limits, or?"
She says, "Looks like you. Do you feel you need more cash then?"
I do feel so, yes.
I can see you're assuming about a 40-day trip. James, go ahead and make a persuasion check, please.
I can.
Okay.
She's actually the one talking to her right now.
Okay, fair. One
This
sec, I'm
money
gonna
as
put
well.
something on my computer
Oh.
on.
No, wrong one. Hold on for a second. Persuasion. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. No modifier, but you made the roll nonetheless. So she's like, certainly, I can do a little bit more. And she pulls out 4 platinum coins. And she says, "This is all I still have available. So I brought a little bit of
Understood.
additional coin, but I have to maintain my own standard of living while you're gone." So, and she goes, "And I had to make some substantial investments to find out the things I found out about this curse." And so she hands you 4 platinum coins.
Okay.
And that gives you another 40 gold pieces, I believe. But they're platinum coins. You've got 4 more of them.
Another 40, you said?
4 platinum pieces. They're worth 10 gold pieces each. Put them in as platinum pieces.
Okay. What is it PLP?
Just platinum pieces, capital P, just like GP is GP.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What would you all like to do now? You've gotten a little bit more money. Do you want to try and finish up your shopping?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, let's
I will,
get the boats, I guess.
The place you
I
have
have.
the place you have to go to tonight is outside the city. All right, here, and you know that they lock the gates at sunset, so you have to be aware of that.
Oh.
Right.
I will try to perform, but I am.
Where? Are you just going to take out your loot and jam?
Yeah.
All right, so you're sitting in the merchant's villa and you just want to see how hammered you are. Is that what you're trying to do?
That plus I will see how much money I can get off of being hammered.
You go ahead and so you're attempting to solicit the household staff or her for money.
No. I'm trying to solicit. Like I'm outside already and trying to solicit some.
And Kazoo is watching her
hang on.
carefully.
Hang on. We were inside the house. I specifically asked what you guys wanted to do next. You want to go outside and try and perform. So you want to just get up and go and sit down and play, okay? So that's what's going on. Garul and Lonely Chaser, what are you doing?
I still think we should prioritize getting the 2 boats we need.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah. And before I
Let's
leave,
get the boats, maybe some nets so we can fish along the way,
Mhm.
and try to get our
Yeah, I was gonna check my inventory.
rations locked down
Okay.
for emergency.
yeah. Before I leave, actually, before Opponent leaves, I will hand Gruel the 50 gold.
So you just
I
hand
Yeah.
over your purse and walk outside. So
Yeah.
Kazoo, are you following?
I'm like I do the same and hand Gruel my money and then just go babysit Aponia.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, too. I was going to ask about that.
All right, so we have part of the party hanging out in front of Wakonga's house,
She
doing street performances. Correct?
I'm just babysitting her. Once I see the sun starts going down, I'm gonna start
Yeah.
heading to that bar.
Okay. All right, so you're all going to meet at the bar afterwards, right?
Indeed.
Okay. So first of all, we'll just for the sake of getting it done, are you assisting with the performance checks?
No, I'm just babysitting.
Yeah. I
Alright.
think it was assumed that I will be doing all this.
All right. So Kazoo's just sit back with his arms crossed, seeing how well Aponia can play. Aponia, go ahead and give me a perform check in the tower.
Okay. Since I already have advantage, disadvantage does get canceled out.
How do you have advantage?
I am playing the loot, and because I have advantage for loot, I can have performance advantaged on performances relating to that.
All right, you have proficiency.
Banjo.
You have proficiency. I don't think you have advantage because you're a reveler, right?
Mm,
Yeah, you don't automatically have advantage that I can see with your loot. You can play it because you're proficient in it, and you get your
Yep.
proficiency bonus. All right, so that would that's going to give you a decent roll, but I don't think you have. Yeah, your performance is +3, so you got your +1 for your charisma, plus your proficiency bonus of +2. So, but you don't automatically get advantage.
I mean, like for the never mind.
Yeah, I will
I'm just
give you.
babies.
And you're not getting backed up by Phantom Dragon. I asked
Yeah.
if he was going to give you advantage through assisting, and he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just babysitting
Yeah,
her. I'm too
we-
busy making sure she doesn't do anything
Yeah,
dumb.
it's understand that I was doing this alone.
No problem. So you're hanging out playing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not horrible. It's not great. All right. If you you know when you're like going to the you go to like a band performance, like at school or stuff, and about 70% of the band is hitting the notes pretty much mostly, and about 30% of the band is just not hitting the notes. That's kind of where you are, all right? It's not super horrible, but it's not your best performance ever. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're delivering a good solid 4. It's not, nobody's throwing fruit at you, but definitely you've lost some precision, if you know what I'm saying.
All right.
Alcohol.
Yeah. So you're sitting there jamming on your loot, and Kazoo's hanging out behind you. We have shopping to do we not?
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, so do we want to bump our food purchase up to 6 times, let's see, 40 days worth of food, 3 gold pieces a day. It's 90 to get 30 days worth of food. Do you want to spend 90 gold pieces and get 30 days worth of food for everybody?
Yeah, I think that's our safest bet, but we'll still try to get like a fishing net or something to have on
And
the
that
side.
rain catcher.
I thought we already got the
We
rain.
already got the
catcher.
rain catchers.
So
Oh, okay.
right now, you guys have, it's a public note, you can pull it up, and I've labeled the public note shopping. All right, and you are spending 14 gold pieces on bug repellent, 4 gold pieces on rain catchers, 90 gold pieces on 30 days worth of food for 6 people.
Mhm.
100 gold pieces on 2 canoes. So right now you've got 190, 194, 208.
That'll be 280. Yeah, 280.
208. So that 208 gives you've still got about 32 gold pieces left that you can spend with the platinum pieces that she gave you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, then fishing nets is probably a good idea, assuming they're like
Wait.
relatively cheap.
All right. I'm going to pop the items for you. And we're looking at nets, right? That's what you guys are looking for?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and pull it up.
What the nets will do is there's specific instances where the DM will give you bonuses when you're trying to fish. There's technically a weapon called net that's a martial weapon, but you're looking for official net. So yeah, you can get one for 3 gold pieces. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
so.
All right, so we're getting a net. Anything else you think you want?
Hold on. Proficiencies. Notes. Sorry. No.
All right.
I think we're all good. I mean,
Dinosaur.
Yeah, I think we're fine, probably. I can't really think of anything that we might need off the top of my head.
Well, how much would a tinker's tools be?
let's have a look.
Tinker's.
50 gold pieces.
Oh, okay.
We can't afford that.
You're down to 32.
And if I add my money in,
You just gave us your money and we spent it on
Yeah, no, I
rations.
I handed the money that.
So you
Yeah,
had
Garul's being the responsible one and keeping an eye on everybody's everything.
so
Yeah.
you had 200 gold pieces, 240 gold pieces total you got from your patron, but you all had a little bit of money that was your own money that you brought with you.
Yeah,
So
Right.
and I got like roughly total, like 6 gold pieces.
I had 10 gold pieces, maybe 11.
Yeah, and
I
if
don't think
I
I had that much.
No, me and James did a little thing.
No, I was talking about
Moving
myself.
on.
Sorry if I was like illiterate. No, illegible. You know what I mean.
Money.
Understandable.
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, I think that's everything I think we need for shopping. If anyone disagrees, speak up now.
yeah, for now, that should be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So are you going to have all this stuff sent to Wakangas?
I guess.
I would honestly just take it with us. But there's no one who can carry it in the party. Like, we don't have a pack animal.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I'm assuming lugging 2 boats around the town is not going to be easy.
No, I mean you've got a legitimate with your own gear like your backpacks, your water skins, things like that. The two canoes are going to carry all your stuff. All right, they're going to be able to do that fairly well. And of course, the canoes come with oars, right? So you can paddle them. All right. If you didn't carry all your gear with you, because you got to figure that is 30 days. That's 30 days worth of food. That's 180 man days at 2 pounds apiece, right? So that is that's like 4 shopping carts worth of stuff, right? So you got 4 shopping carts worth of, sausages, cheeses, nuts, dried fruit, you know what I mean? So you've got a ton of food with you, and so you can carry that no problem at all in the boat. Carrying it overland would be a little bit more of a challenge. You could probably do it, but everybody be loaded down. Make sense?
Yeah,
All right.
that does make sense.
So, okay. All right, I've got your shopping list. What we'll do is we'll add that. I will drag those items over and load up your I'll drag those items over and load up your character sheets later. All right. But we've got the items defined. You've got 32 gold pieces left. And it sounds like you probably got another 20 or 25 gold pieces on top of that. That is just all the spare coin that y'all have, right?
Right.
Okay, very good. So do you want to make your way to Malar's throat and to the
Broken chalice.
broken chalice? Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. So you make it to the broken chalice, and you pass out through the gate, and there's definitely a difference when you step out into Malar's throat. All right, it's a different sort of environment. It's really a slum, and you can feel that immediately. There's two sheer jungle drape ridges flanking a deep ravine, and the buildings are kind of ramshackle, and they cling to the side of the ridges, and some of them are huts, some of them are kind of, something somebody threw together to have a house. And it really looks like during a really heavy rain, runoff's going to pour down the ravine, and it's going to be a little bit hard to walk, right? So it probably would sweep along anything that wasn't pinned down if it was raining real hard. Going from either side to the ravine, you can see footbridges of rope and bamboo, and they hang above the ravine, and some of them are as much as 200 feet long, and they sway back and forth, above the ground. They would be, if you were scared of heights, they would be no fun. And you can see there's people moving back and forth on them. And up on top of the ravine, there's a few houses also. And you're going to be making your way to the broken chalice, all right? And as you pass through, the guards, seeing that you're outlined, do remind you that, hey, gates closes at sunset, all right? And there's a Temple of Tamora out here also. And the Temple of Tamora, Tamora is the goddess of lust, but there's a Temple of Tamora out here also. All right. So this is, you come walking up, and it is a silver chalice up on the sign for the inn. And you can see that there's a piece broken out of the side sitting next to it. And there's, looks like red gems set in the side of the chalice. And
By the way, is Aponia still hammered?
Yes.
Aponia is just sort of cruising right along, hammered right now. All right. More alcohol might be bad. All right, so you walk into the broken chalice, and it's fairly well lit inside here. It's down in the ravine and it's getting to the back end of the day. So the open air sections of the bar, which is the first part of it, are not fully lit, but you also can see that in the back section, back through the doors into the main area. So you've got a front area that's almost like a garden where there's tables and chairs and stuff, and there's a small little fountain in it. And then there's a set of double doors and some open windows going back into the main bar where there are a whole bunch of other tables and stuff. And you can see that there are windows in the roof area, all right, that shine down on the inner area that can be sealed up, and they're open right now. And there are shutters for those areas. So you guys come walking in, and waiting for you is Musharib. And Musharib says, Come, sit.
But of course.
And he introduces you to a half orc, and she is about 6 foot tall. She is fairly attractive as half orcs go. She, has faintish green tinge to her face. You can see small tusks pushing out on either side of her face. She's wearing a chain shirt and a light green cloak that's seen a little bit of wear. And she stands up and she offers her hand to Ford. She offers her hand to Lonely Chaser, and she shakes Lonely Chaser's hand, and then she goes right around the circle, shaking everybody's hand, and she sits down, and she goes, I'm Underlil Silvertusk, and Musharib has told me that you wish to travel up the river. Is this correct?
Yes.
Indeed.
You're hot.
I
And And keep in mind, that was in character.
I understand. She says, I appreciate that feedback, sister. However, I am devoted to Torm, and I am
Hey,
bound to Tyr, and I have taken an oath of celibacy.
I walk over to the dwarf and ask him, so a bar gave us a little shot of liquid, and they gave it to her, and she drank it. Now she's like this, and she's been like this for the entire day, and I don't know how.
Oh, I understand. So she got some Chilton fire wine, huh?
Yeah.
Alponia, I'm going to take care of you. And he says something in Dwarven. You hear laughter from the bar, and another albino dwarf says something to him, and he goes, "We'll take care of that in a second."
Uh-oh.
No.
And Undrill says, "I do appreciate that you hold me high in your esteem," but she says, "I am devoted to Torm and also to Tyr, and I have gifted myself fully to my gods." She says, "But I do appreciate you offering to let me travel with you. I need to go up the river to Fort Vengeance and deliver some information to the commander there."
I see.
We're good help.
Now, knowing the map from based on Gruel's memory, that should be on our way, correct? To our desired location?
You really have to do full recon, so pretty much anything up that way is going to be on your way. So,
Okay. Fair enough.
give me a second here.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
All right, let me pull up the map that you have so we get some reference here. Give me a second,
Please do.
and I will flag it for you.
Thank you.
Alrighty then. So,
Now I wish it didn't open Discord. Anyways. Oh, you have little faith.
James, can you go over and look in your images file and see if you've got that map handy quickly?
What would it be labeled as?
You shouldn't have that many images over there. It should be just a map.
Yeah, I have a lot of images over here for some reason, so
Okay.
I don't know what that's about, but
It's okay. There we go. I got it. All right.
hmm. Hmm.
Okay. There you go, folks. There is your map. Here you go.
Yes.
All right. So she needs to go to Camp Vengeance, which is right here on the map. All right. And you know
I
that
see.
somewhere in this huge area here, somewhere in this vast expanse in here, is what you're looking for. All right. You're not quite
Yeah.
certain where, but you know, somewhere in
I
here.
remember we were able to narrow. Sorry.
Yeah, you were able to
I
narrow
remember.
down. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were able to narrow it down quite a bit to a reasonable chunk between the Mist Cliff Mountains and Camp Vengeance. So
You were that was for the because you want to go try and find out where that construct is because that was the first lead you had. You figured it was about there. We
yeah,
narrowed it down to a couple square area, so you've been able to narrow that down just based on the work that you and Lonely Chaser and everybody did doing reconnaissance. So yeah, you've
precisely.
got to go up. You've got to go up the River Show and Star anyhow, Show and Star to get there. So Camp Vengeance is right on your way and helping out. Helping out Undar Silver Tusk is going to work for you. That's going to be
Yeah.
reasonable.
Well, it's
So-
certainly on our way.
Big people
Well,
gods
Camp
are
Vengeance. Camp Vengeance is certainly on our route, so we're more than happy to accompany you to get there.
She says, "Well, I absolutely appreciate that. I can't tell you how much I do. How much do you know about Charlton area here?"
We just got here.
Well, there are many places. One of the things that my folks have been doing, one of the things that the people at Camp Vengeance have been doing, is they have been fighting off and trying to slay the undead that have overrun this area. And the first camp, Camp Righteous, was destroyed by an attack by ghouls and zombies and other undead, including whites. And the survivors set up Camp Vengeance and are actively working to disrupt as much as they can and do as much damage as they possibly can to the undead
To the
population
undead.
here. Yes. And there are areas where packs of them run. One of the reasons that Charlton civilization is limited to the coastlines and the shores and these fortified areas is because of that. So there are many different types of undead in the forest, but the lesser undead, the zombies, the ghouls, the skeletons, they're the most common. So traveling by boat has its advantages. There are things in the river that we have to be aware of, but traveling by boat does protect us from swarms of wandering zombies and things such as that in the same way. So I need to make it to, see my brothers. I need to make it to see my brethren. And having you with me helps substantially.
Orcs are like Krogan. They're hardy folk.
I am. My mother was a soldier in the Order of the Gauntlet, and had a very bad experience, and I am her progeny. And I was taken in to the temple as a priest, and have found salvation in the worship of Torm and also of Tyr.
Wonderful, you.
By the way,
Alright.
my character is like writing information down in like a really bad handwriting way, and with like dumb pictures and shit in like a little notebook, trying to big people god kind of thing, called Torque.
Got it.
That
And,
kind of thing.
Orc worships Torque, right? That sort of
Yes.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
And I assume that I am.
We're getting you help.
Yeah, am I still there or?
you're sitting there, and this dwarf comes over as you guys are talking.
Yeah.
All right, and he's got big, heavy oven gloves, and he's got his hands on either side of what looks kind of like a teapot, but not quite. He sets down this container, and it's got a handle on the side, and he takes and he sets down a mug. All right,
I
takes
made
out
a
a
mistake.
little thing, takes out a little vial. All right, puts just this whisper of vial in it, closes it down, and then pours out for you. All right, a cupful of this beverage, and the beverage smells. Well, it smells hot. All right. You know when well, this has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you, but when you say to the cook making the hot wings or at the Chinese restaurant, you can't make it hot enough, bring it, and they go, challenge accepted. And when
Hold my beer.
and when they put the food down in front of you, your nose starts to run. That's where
Hey,
you guys sit in
I
front.
know hot. Seriously, I personally know hot.
You're thinking this is.
I
You think this is ghost peppers with stuff that makes ghost peppers run away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. And the dwarf looks at you, and he puts your hand on your shoulder, and he goes, all right, lassie. That you could drink the firewater tells me you're fairly sturdy. This will, cure you of the drink, but you'll know about it tomorrow. Are you ready?
Oh no.
No.
I will do it.
All right. Might I have another Constitution check?
Okay,
Constitution
let me-
save, please.
Oh no, what have I done? This is gonna be amazing.
let me declutter my table, my screen here, because I got a whole lot of shit up here.
I feel like I made a mistake. I feel like she could set fire or something.
All right, so Aponia picks up the cup, sips it. All right, and you see her get very, very pale, and her eyes get super, super, super big. All right, and do you drink the entire thing in one shot,
Yes.
Aponia? Okay, so you see glug, 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 and it immediately is a wash of super hot, oily pain. Your sinuses immediately cook. Your nose starts to run. You set it down, and oh my God, is it hot? You're no longer poisoned. The upside is the last thing on your mind is being drunk. All right, absolutely the last thing on your mind. All right, it functions as a purgative. You feel like somebody has just driven a truck through the backside of your brain and out your forehead. Things are much clearer.
Yeah.
However,
Someone did, there was a stampede of centaurs rushing through my body.
you absolutely have to cool off your mouth, intestines, entire body. You're in a cold sweat. Your nose is running. You absolutely have to have something else to drink right now. You can't control yourself. What do you do?
I will quickly step on out, find the nearest fountain,
There was a fountain right over there in the middle of the bar.
and I will do a 10 across the board swan dive.
Okay, so you trigger your super jump and go face first directly into the directly into the fountain.
Yeah,
and start drinking.
like the Olympic
I feel like-
pens across the board. Like,
I feel like the dwarves are just gonna laugh at this point, but okay.
They see you launch yourself and go face down in the pool, and the dwarf who served it says in Dwarven to Musharib something. Musharib laughs pretty hard. All right. Also, Underil, she also laughs pretty hard, and the dwarf takes a quick order of other drinks from all of you and walks back across the bar. The tough thing about this, Aponia, is the water helps while you're drinking it, but when you stop drinking it doesn't help. You know what I mean? Because it's oil, right? And you have to break the oils down. So you're able to really, your lips are numb. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I just want to point out
because I know
Kazoo looks mortified, but is dying, laughing.
I know the experience in real life about how hot shit like that is. Seriously,
So
I felt my insides literally about to explode one time when I had.
oh yeah.
And when I say explode, I literally mean I felt like I was about to like take out all my insides just because of.
Lord.
I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, your body right now is going, "Excuse me, what have you done to us?" Right? Now,
Trust
of
me, it's
course,
not a fun experience.
Garth scrambles up on the the little angel on top of the little fountain that's inside. Garth's linking on top of it, looking down at you, going, "Oh, poor Ponya, poor Ponya." And
Oh.
Garth looks up over at Kazoo and goes, "Ponya's butt gonna be on fire."
Yes, yes. I just go, yes, yes.
So,
Girl is actually gonna ask like the
What did you get?
like the waitress like, when's the last time you've washed the fountain?
Yes.
yeah, we have to do that again. We're very much aware of it. It would be, that water's clean, ma'am. That water's clean. He'll be fine.
Okay,
They'll be
So-
fine.
just making sure.
Yeah.
Kazoo's just looking at this going, okay.
So, did you get the things that we talked about getting? Hey, did you?
Indeed, yes, we have our supplies. We have ordered our supplies. It will be arriving. Hopefully tomorrow when we will be ready to depart.
We should be able to, and I'm going to say two hexes on the map because that's the easiest way to communicate it. That is about on the water. He says if you're taking your time and you're being cautious, that's about 20 miles a day. All right. If we were traveling overland and we weren't being cautious, we could make about the same time, but it'd be much easier to ambush us and we'd make a lot of noise. Normally, traveling through the underbrush, you could do about 10 miles a day, one square. And he said one of the good things about traveling on the river is you don't get lost on the river. The river goes one way, it goes the other way, right? We could make a little bit better time if we were going downriver with the current behind us, but the best we're going to be able to do is about 2 moving upriver. So make a little bit better time
Right.
going down. It's not a real strong current here. Now there's other currents like the River Oolong. River Oolong, really, really fast, steep sides. That's really hard to paddle up, but you can come down it real fast. But this is the Shoshin Star is pretty slow river, so we should be okay. At least this time of year it is. There's not any additional above normal runoff.
Right.
So, I think, if we got all our supplies together and stuff, we should probably try and leave next day or the day after. No reason to wait.
Indeed.
So, and he looks out and he says, you want to stay here with us? You probably got time to make it back to the city if you make it back to the gates if you leave right now. And he's looking out at the angle of the suns. Or, you can stay here. They can put you up.
We should probably spend the night where our supplies will be delivered. So yeah, we're going to go back to the city.
Excellent.
Rule immediately gets up and gets ready to go.
You said you were staying at Wakanga's, correct?
Indeed.
Yes.
So, well, the half-orc says, "Aye, well then, we will stop by early in the morning then and see if you want to leave then. Are we going to leave tomorrow or the next day?"
I'd say tomorrow. How about the rest of you?
Sooner
I
is
see.
better.
Opponent just does a thumbs up, and Garth does the same.
All right, she says, "Well then, we'll be there in the morning then."
I feel a disturbance
then.
in the force.
The disturbance in the butt forces.
All right, so you guys get back to the you guys are going to go back to the inn then for the night, or go back to Wakanga's house for the night?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you basically scoot right in as they're getting ready to close the doors, just as the sun's, because they leave the doors open as long as there's light. So that period of time, the gloaming, where it's the twilight fading before full darkness kicks in.
Yes.
So just about at the point where the sky is starting to lose the last of its color, you guys come skidding in. So they technically close the gates about an hour after the sun physically sets. So you come skidding in, and they let you in. And you're heading directly back to Wakanga's house then?
Yes.
Indeed.
So you do so. City's still pretty busy. It's much cooler at night, although it's still hot. So figure that it's about 90 to 100 degrees with 100% humidity at night, and it's about 80 degrees with 100% humidity. Or it's vice versa, about 90 to 100 degrees during the day, and it's about 80 degrees with 100% humidity during the night. So, how many people have spent summer in Florida?
Yeah.
That. It's like you're living in a
Yeah.
microwave sponge. You know what I'm saying?
You can take the man out of Florida, but you can't take the Florida out of the man.
I don't know. We're going to Wyoming, so I'm going to try. I'm going to freeze it out of you. All right. All right. So,
Look at the bunga.
you guys get back there. Guards welcome you in. Sylvain is waiting to see you. One of the servants says, Sylvain is interested in seeing how your day went. Would you like me to take you directly to her, or would you like to clean up first?
Yes, I can go.
We
Clean
can go
up.
straight to her, I feel.
All right. So, which is it, lads and ladies?
I'm gonna go.
Aponia goes directly to clean up beforehand, but she indicates towards the group that
They can go without her.
it's like off screen stuff, so the group can.
Garul, looking at Aponia, it's probably fair to Aponia to let Aponia clean up. All right. Aponia.
Well, I
yeah,
suppose that's
yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, your idea, basically you don't wear clothes. You carry a shield and you have a shell, correct?
Indeed.
Okay. Let's see. Aponia's clothes were absolutely soaked, and she's her fur on her legs and stuff. She probably needs a bath. She probably needs to clean up.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Yeah.
and Garth might need a bath as well. So
So everybody goes and gets cleaned up, and after about an hour, everybody's going to go meet with Sylvain.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
All right. So
Yep.
you come in to meet with Sylvain. All right. And she has tea ready for you, and she says, "So are we ready to depart? Have you done all the things that you need to do?"
Indeed.
Yes.
We have our guide. We have our canoes for the river. We are going to make our. It's just us in the room, right? The five of us, six.
Yes.
All right. I pull out the map and I'm like, we have where our lead's going to be. We've got our supplies to be delivered tomorrow. We're going to make our way to our office to this location and spread out our search from there.
So you're going to go to Camp Vengeance, see the individuals of the Order of the Gauntlet. After you've met with them, okay, very good, very good. That makes a certain degree of sense. I was able to commission someone to collect more information for us, and I do have some things that I've discovered through Wakanga's agents. So one thing that I've determined is Chelt has many kings and queens, more beautiful than Queen Zakuri, but none more beautiful than Queen Victoria. Thousands of warriors killed and died for her, but the only memorial of her reign is the Garden Palace of Nangalore, which lies near the eastern shore of the river along north of Lake Luau. So she says that somewhere up in here, there's supposed to be a city called Nangalore, which was devoted to this queen, and she thinks that might be one place to look also.
Where?
And then a place about somewhere along
There.
that line, somewhere in there. Technically, let me go and get you actually a square. I'll do a circle this time. Somewhere in here someplace.
Okay.
Right in there someplace, right? And then she says, what I've learned about the Order of the Gauntlet is they came here to cleanse the jungle of undead, but they lost Camp Righteous. And your contact may have told you that. And they're just barely hanging on up at Camp Vengeance. They're in a really difficult situation. And we're worried. They're frankly worried they're going to be overrun. I mean, they're trying to do the right thing. They're making pretty serious sacrifices to defend the city and to help the Cheltons. And, the Order of the Gauntlet is filled with individuals of a religious bent. Some might call them fanatical, but I think of them more as very committed. So just be aware that the people you're going to help are in need of help. So, and
Certainly.
just says finally, and this may not be an issue for us, but in the Bay of Chult, if you determine at some point that you want to travel by boat, there is a ancient dragon turtle named Aramag, and he lives in the Bay of Chult, and he routinely captures ships that try and pass by and demands tribute. And he's this big old scarred beast, missing an eye, breathes a big cone of steam that will parboil and cook people like crabs. And he has other minions that follow him around and feed on his leavings. So if we do go by boat someplace, if you decide to go by boat someplace along the coast, just be prepared to pay tribute to this dragon turtle.
Certainly.
Oh my god, I can sing! And I got banjo!
I'm not certain it will take amusement and entertainment like most of us,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Aponia takes out her ladle and stares at at her little music partner, goblin partner, and just, secretly nods, knowing,
Bard.
Bard and Monk, forever musical friends.
Yeah.
So the two of you immediately being in composition of a song of praise for Aramag the dragon turtle.
Yes.
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 Sylvain smiles brightly, looks at all of you, and says, "I see you're going to have suitable entertainment as you travel."
Indeed.
So, all right, I will give Kazoo and Aponia inspiration for amusing me to no end, and I would like to give Lonely Chaser and Garul inspiration for being absolutely exquisite straight men and actually being the people who are trying to accomplish the mission. Bravo.
Yes, the straight man and the funny man. And then the goblin.
Yes, that's right.
And the goblin baby. It would have been funny if we had just another person in here. Just to just break the tie between the funny men's and funny people and the non-funny people.
We need another straight man, is what you're saying.
we don't need no pansexual people. We already have one right here. Sorry.
So she leans forward and she goes, "I did a little bit of research on Musarib too, and he has a reputation as a very dependable and forthright guide. He is a bit focused. Did he talk to you at all about what he wants you to do with him?"
In exchange, yes, we're willing to help him if need be.
He is he will need your help. Do you know what a fire newt is?
Baby dragon.
Not quite, fortunately. No, a fire newt, although they have some similarity to dragonborn, at least morphologically, in terms of what they look like and where they live, they have a tendency to dwell around volcanoes. And Rakmar, the place that he wants you to go and help him with, was an albino dwarf shrine and forge and temple. And it was overrun by the fire newts, and as I understand it, they do keep some of the albino dwarves as slaves still to attempt to make armor and weapons for them. So he is going to need absolutely, totally your help, and I know you feel, and I respect that you feel a commitment to me to do this in as timely a manner as you can. At the same time, we need to explore basically the entire jungle to find what we need to find. And if you feel it's necessary to go and help him and maybe take a little bit more time than you think maybe you have. I guess what I'm trying to say is we all have one life, and two in my case, thanks to the blessings of tomorrow. But we have one life. We should do as much good as we can within that life. And if the dwarves are being held as slaves, and it doesn't cost you undue time to help Musharib go and save his brothers and sisters, then I
We
understand.
shall save dwarves too.
Excellent.
But of course.
Excellent, Kazoo. So my life is important, and what happens to me is important. Obviously, I've recruited you to help me, but at the same time, at the end of our lives, we're the sum of our deeds. So do
Are you
everything.
ordering us to help as many people as possible as well?
I'm telling you, I don't give a lot of orders. It's not how I approach things. Um, what I do believe, though, is we all must listen to what our heart tells us about what is right and what is wrong and follow that voice. It's a very personal thing. And if you feel the best thing to do is to quickly and efficiently pursue the solution to the death curse for me and many other people, I understand that and respect that. At the same time, if you can do good along the way and there's a delay involved, well, then do the good you can when you find it. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yes.
Mhm.
Of course.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate that, and I respect the sacrifices you're willing to make. The jungles here are not an easy place to travel, and the Chultans that live along the coast are wonderful people and good people who I have had traded with quite often and worked with and adventured with. Um, Within the hearts of the jungle, there are ancient beasts and fell and foul beasts that have driven the Chultans away from their ancestral homelands, from the place that was originally the home of their empire. And be wary and be cautious. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the sacrifices you've been prepared to make for me. I thank you profoundly. And if you are able to find the artifact that you're searching for and destroy it and end the death curse, all of Faerun will thank you.
Yes.
Well, I am fatigued. I have been at this all day, and I think it's best now if I go to sleep. And you said you were leaving tomorrow?
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, then I will wake in the morning and I will bid you adieu. And I will let Wakanga know, he has not been home yet today, what you were doing. So, and I thank you all profoundly. And, oh, one last thing. Don't feel that you may never return back to the port. I mean, I recognize that this may be a journey of many ventures where you go out into the woods or out into the jungle in the wildlands and then return home, and go out into the jungle and then return home. I expect that. So I look forward to seeing you again. And I am so tired, I must go to sleep.
Please do.
And she starts to stand up, and one of the servants comes over and helps her, and hands her her staff, and she heads out with her staff. And she briefly casts his mage hand and brings her cup of tea to her hand as she walks out and drinks from it. All right, what y'all doing? We going to sleep tonight or shenanigans?
Sleep.
I think everyone else is going to attempt to sleep. And I am going to attempt to, but I have a feeling.
Just keep in mind.
Aponia will go to sleep.
I think Aponia feels she needs to.
Yes.
Aponia drove a truck full of really potent alcohol through her forehead, and then a truck full of all sorts of really interesting flammable oils through her intestines. So Aponia's body right now is going, perhaps we could sleep now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Tomorrow she'll feel it.
So keep in mind, there's rules to all fatigues. All right, there's many ways to die in D&D.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's why I said Aponia will be resting.
That's right. There is the DM does a bunch of hit points to you, which kills you dead. And then there's levels of fatigue. The first level of fatigue gives you disadvantage on everything, on all normal checks. The second level of fatigue gives you disadvantage on combat checks. And it keeps going until you're so fatigued you can't move. And the next level of fatigue you get kills you. Dead. So,
Dead.
just keep in mind when you have an opportunity to rest, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because the DM is occasionally evil, he may decide to chase you through the forest for 4 days straight with hordes of undead and not allow you to sleep. Just maybe. Just saying that.
I
could
know.
happen.
I'm
Yeah.
aware.
Hypothetically.
I know.
So, when you can sleep, you should try and sleep.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
all right. I am going to suggest that when we meet next time, one of the things we're going to do is we are going to go right out into the adventure. So I'm going to suggest that today is a good place to stop for tonight. All right.
Okay.
And we will start again next week, same time. All right. Now, because M's not playing with us, this is just something to consider. Because M's not playing with us, we may be able to play another game during the week if y'all want to, every once in a while. Is there another day that might work for you guys, like on a Monday night or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps this should be discussed off camera, though.
I was going to say, why don't the four of you talk that
Yeah.
through in Discord and let me know if there's another night you want to try and play, and then we'll set up another night. All right. All right. And everybody, I want to thank you for watching our stream and supporting these outstanding human beings. And something that, I want you all to recognize and respect is these folks are putting themselves out here to you and showing you everything that they really value about the game and sharing their adventures with you. And I really want to respect all the youngsters who are doing this today. And thank you so much for giving me your time. And as Will Wheaton would say, play more games. And we will see you next week. Additionally, if you want to, I also have my Blackmore stream. I work for Dave Arneson, and I'm doing a Dungeons of Castle Blackmore stream that's based on conversations I had with him in Gen Con in 2008 and 9 and back and forth when I was working for him. And that is tomorrow between 3 and 6 Eastern in the afternoon. And that's also here at Kilgore's Lair, my channel. And we are playing...
Should we raid someone?
hardcore D&D. Yeah, we could raid someone.
Actually, I do have someone who is an avid tabletop person that you could raid.
I have a friend playing Minecraft I was going to suggest, but okay.
Now,
I'm talking about Pleasantly Twisted.
if I follow them, I can raid them. Give me a second.
You are most likely not know them, but I personally know them, and it's like it's Pleasantly then Twisted as and TWSTD. And they are an amazing person who does tabletop games sometimes. At least part of like the tabletop scene. And
I am actually gonna raid Trooper SJP, who is a good friend of mine, and Trooper actually is teaches music, and he is running a Fate game that he has personally crafted, and the Fate game is set in the French Resistance, and his table is a bunch of actors and professors who are avid gamers and just outstanding people. So we're going to hop on over there and we're going to give Trooper a raid. And tell you what, we'll coordinate next time I'm on, and we'll make certain that we, hit some of the folks you sponsor also. All right?
yeah.
All right, everybody, let's go raid Trooper.
It's gonna take a few minutes. Oh yeah, I think I know Trooper. Oh yeah, I already am following Trooper, huh?
All right.
So we're gonna have him up.
Alright.
All right, everybody. Let me...
Make sure you do hit end stream if you didn't already.
I did.